Okay.
Hello and welcome to the Geek Embassy Watches Star Trek Discovery. I'm your host, Regina McMenemy, and I'm here live
Hey.
with Dante and Isabella.
All right. In my
Hello.
defense, you didn't tell me that you were hitting the button right
I
at that
didn't.
second.
I just said, let's go.
Yeah. And I was just like, I'm gonna put down my phone, and all of a sudden I hear the intro. I'm like, great. This is gonna sound awesome in podcast land. Welcome,
You know,
Radio
Regina.
USA.
You know that this is what she does.
What? I don't sabotage you guys hardly ever.
No, she's
Sometimes.
she's just a bad influence on us forever.
Bad. Well, you'd have to define bad.
Define bad as like there's $100 less in my checking account after Comic-Con weekend.
Yes, but I didn't encourage you to buy drugs with that money.
That's entirely true.
I did encourage you to support independent artists whose artwork you fell in love with.
Yes. That's entirely true.
Then
you're welcome, Internet.
She so wins good.
Again.
I'm still in the morally, good category. I wasn't, I do definitely inspire sushi consumption as well.
Oh my god, sushi consumption.
Yeah.
Now I want sushi.
No, flaming sushi one time.
I most certainly also want flaming sushi.
Never again.
Yeah, no.
Oh my god, that was
never again.
All right,
that did not end well for me.
It was the worst idea for Izzy, but it changed my life.
Yeah, it was pretty.
I will always never cook sushi ever again.
Yeah. Nothing with cream cheese, because I think you got a couple that had cream cheese on them, right?
Maybe. Something like that.
Yeah, we just don't know what it was.
It didn't go well. All right, so we're not here to talk about sushi or cons or any of that.
What? This isn't the sushi cast?
This isn't the sushi cast.
Although I did have poke for lunch. That was good.
Oh,
nice.
Poke is the best.
Yeah, I just saw pictures of somebody else's sushi today, and I was like, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
When do I get to go to sushi again?
I would have taken a picture so that I could taunt you with it.
Wow.
Yes.
Damn it.
Yes, you missed your opportunity.
We've said damn it twice now. 3 times now. There goes our PG rating.
The FCC allows it, so I'm going to say we're good.
Right. Yeah, we're going to be okay. Otherwise, we're not so much with. Which we've actually noticed in some of our episodes of Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, man. Look at that. Segue man.
That segue. That was lovely, if I do say so myself. All right. So tonight we have episodes 10 and 11 to discuss of Star Trek Discovery, which is back from its sort of winter holiday hiatus. And I'm trying to remember exactly. So episode 9 had ended where they didn't know where they were.
That is absolutely correct. Stamets said the magic words, one last jump.
Right.
And then, of course,
himself.
Everything went to hell.
Everybody else, yes.
He's 1 day away from retirement. Of course he's going to get sick.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, he is, in the words of Dana Glover, too old for this nonsense.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it was... and something we didn't catch that a friend of mine, Liam, caught... Lorca overrode the location, the final jump. He overrode the final jump
of the original 140 whatever jumps.
No, of that one, I think.
Really?
Yes. And so there's an internet theory, which we can get into more through, that I'll talk about as we talk about the episode. I won't jump into it now because I have a talking point for it later. But I didn't catch it. He sent me the screenshot of it because I bet there's a bunch of internet theories kind of going on around that now. So, yeah.
Let's see if I can find that one.
I'm looking for my notes.
I'm talking about something else.
Yeah, I have it. It's in our Slack channel.
Okay. Found it.
Yeah.
Oh, it really does.
It says Lorca.
It says Lorca override.
That's interesting.
And then the next jump is unknown.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty solid evidence of some sort of tampering. And I was like, oh my goodness, how did I not get this? Yeah. I'm looking
Well,
for
'cause it was
our old
probably,
notes.
like-
Yeah. It's probably what?
It was probably like half a second on the screen.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Mhm.
It's one of those things that you probably would have. I didn't rewatch episode 9. I didn't have a chance to when we
Neither did I.
recorded. I don't think I did. And I have some predictions of ours from episode 9, which we can start if we want to start there. But yeah, so I didn't rewatch it, but he did, and he sent me that screenshot. I can't even take credit for the screenshot. So.
Oh man, that's incredible though.
It is. It's a really telling moment. So anyway, so we'll get more into that. Let's see what I had for we said Lorca is a bad man, which
I mean he is.
He is, but we haven't seen any really more evidence of that at this point. Oh, and by the way, listeners and watchers, we're gonna spoil everything.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're spoiling literally everything.
Yeah. Oh. What? Oh, Dante, you had a prediction that. Well, you had two predictions that Stamets was going to turn into Q. Which,
I was really hoping that was going to be correct, and I think I'm wrong.
I think you're wrong too. I think he's just it's that network that they're talking about that he's plugged into, and that Ash is pregnant with L'Rell's offspring.
Okay, well, that was certainly a bold prediction that I don't even remember making.
I don't either. I was like, what? Ash is pregnant? Why is Ash pregnant? But then
okay, yeah. So I think I figured that it was going to be like some like chest burster nonsense.
Right, yeah. Something, which we didn't see.
Didn't see.
Right. And then my thing was that I felt like they had Voyagered Disco, which they didn't. They're calling back to the original Trek with this new storyline. So, yeah. All right. Do we want to do quick? I'm trying not to do too much episode recap and just kind of get more into talking points, but I feel like we have to talk a little bit about what happens.
Okay. So I think we can do episode 10 really quickly.
Okay.
And it sums up in pretty much this one sentence. Tilly's the captain now. You really don't need to know anything more about this episode.
And she's got the coolest haircut.
She has the most amazing haircut, and she's also
best clothes.
Incredible. So, so if you really want more than Tilly as captain, you should be watching this show. Right. Discovery ends up jumping into the mirror universe, callback to the original series. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Regina, have we not seen the mirror universe since the original series?
Not that I know of. I have no recollection of them actually using this device anywhere else.
Okay, so that's awesome. They found out that that Discovery is part of some galactic empire of humans that is based on Earth under some shadowy emperor person.
The Terran Empire.
The Terran Empire. Okay, I knew that they had a weird word for it. And there is a united federation of alien races, including Klingons and Vulcans and Romulans, who all notoriously hate each other, working together.
And Andorians. They're the blue ones.
And Andorians, yep.
Yeah.
They didn't mention the Kardashians, did they?
Oh, yeah,
Cardassians.
The Cardassians. No, they didn't mention the Cardassians. But I think they're too far out into space. I think we don't get Cardassians until late in Next Generation.
Okay. So there's Andorians and all these other fun folks who notoriously hate each other, banded together in a united front against the Terran Empire, and we find out that that Michael Burnham never committed mutiny. She is a respected general who went missing, looking for fugitive traitor Captain Lorca. We also find out that Tilly is captain of the Discovery, which is absolutely incredible. Saru is a slave on the Discovery not on the Discovery, on the mirror USS Senjo, which
still exists.
As watchers know, is it was destroyed in our universe, but it is there in mirror universe. So Discovery decides to go ahead and get a uh, basically stage an infiltration mission. They beam Burnham and Ash Tyler and Captain Lorca onto the Senjo to basically have Burnham take over a ship and try to rework how they can get back home from the inside.
Right.
And that is, and she
That's how the episode ends, is them
is them infiltrating the ship and
right.
oh well, there's one
you
big thing.
skipped a really big thing. Like
Yes.
the gasping moment of let's
Yeah.
come back from a nice winter holiday. Everybody's
Mhm.
kind of chilled out, and then you watch your like Star Trek Discovery episode, and
Mhm.
you literally, I know you did. I don't know if
Oh,
you
yeah.
did, but I literally gasped at the screen when it happened.
You
Like,
mean wait, so you're not talking about the part where Michael Burnham just was forced to leave Lorca in a torture chamber,
no,
basically enduring 24 hours of torture
No.
a
that
day.
was okay.
No, yeah, like
That was
yeah.
fine.
Oh, you're talking
was
about
fine.
when they decided to refrigerator the LGBTQ couple who's out here.
The internet theories are that he's not dead
What?
Well, I think. Well, I would
because they're in
normally
the mirror universe.
I would normally say internet theories are wrong.
Right?
That being said,
Not anymore.
we need to wait one episode for
Yeah,
this.
we wait until the next one.
But
Yeah.
yes,
So, yeah.
the other subplot for this episode was that Ash Tyler is succumbing to his brainwashing. The doctor, I can't remember what the doctor's name is. And I feel like a bad person for not remembering.
Culber.
Culber, yes, Dr. Culber said, "Listen, like there's something wrong here. You're not you,
Right.
Whatever.
Physically,
Yeah,
he did a scan because they first did, and when he came back, they just did the mental test to see if he, had suffered too much like Stockholm syndrome or PTSD from it, and had decided that he was stable enough to return to work. But he did like a deep scan and it's because Ash goes to him and says, something's not right with this. Like he knows something's wrong with himself.
Yeah.
And that was after Laurel tried to trigger
trigger the memories.
And to get him to realize what it is. And he fought it off. And she ends the episode saying, this is what's wrong. Something's gone wrong. And so he's investigating that. So he goes to Culver and says, something's wrong with me, which prompts him to do the scan. And he sees that there's tons of scar tissue and all kinds of like weird stuff that they've done with like his insides.
Yeah. And he says, you're not you. And then at that moment, grab, snap.
And he runs.
While Stamets is just unconscious on the table next to him.
Right. And Ash takes off and goes on the mission.
I literally gasped.
Yeah. Hands to my face. And I was just Izzy, what about you?
I was just sad. I was like, did this have to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was like, Dante's right. Just gonna kill every POC on the show one by one.
That was another talking point, but hey.
Yeah, we've definitely seen tendencies that I'm not particularly thrilled with on that front. But that pretty much wraps up our sort of summary
of the first episode.
I do want to point out one Easter egg in case anybody was not aware of it. But when they start talking to another one of the Imperial ships, when they're still trying to like figure out what's going on and where they are, Tilly's captain, so she has to act as captain suddenly. So she acts as captain, and Lorca's supposedly dead. So Lorca steps up to act as her engineer. You didn't miss the fact that he was Scotty, right? That he did Scotty's voice from the original series.
Oh,
yeah.
No, I thought that he was doing. I thought that he was just speaking in his normal accent because he's a British actor.
Yeah, no, he was doing Scotty, like full on, like impersonation.
That's amazing.
Of Scotty, and I was like, oh, he's doing Scotty. Because fangirl. So anyway.
Yeah. It was pretty great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was quite ingenious how they went ahead and started hacking data chips to go ahead and learn everything that they possibly could. So all right, that was the one thing that I couldn't really get past in this episode, but I got past it because reasons, was that they learned practically everything about the Terran Empire in approximately 3 hours, and then dispatched a crew to go ahead and just be like, hey, other ships who are in the galaxy with us that were hailing us from not too far away, don't mind us while we just go ahead and just redo a paint job on our ship.
Yeah, I noticed that too. But I also noticed that she says in her voiceover in episode 11 at the beginning of the episode, she says, I've been reading and doing as much research and trying to find out as much as I can. So she continued that. So it wasn't all there for the next episode.
Okay.
So,
yeah, but this was the easiest recon mission ever.
Yeah.
I was we get new uniforms and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somehow Tilly gets new hair. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they have the fabricator or whatever it's called, the replicator.
Right. Replicator,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, so they can go ahead and computer, make me a pair of scissors. Okay, cool.
Right.
Yeah, I get it.
I need to cut my hair.
Yeah, which is why I thought to myself, just they're getting all of these oddly specific costumes really quickly. And oh yeah, right, they have a replicator.
Yeah, they can just go and they've got the files and they can figure everything out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is where it I'll throw in the internet theory that comes with Lorca changing the coordinates on the last jump that destroyed Stamets, is that he wanted that he was wanting to go into the mirror universe because he's actually that guy. So somehow our Lorca in our time is really the Lorca from the Terran Empire.
Interesting.
And that's where he had escaped to. He had escaped because he disappears, right? They both disappear.
Huh.
He's hunting him to the ends of the earth, or Burnham's hunting him to the ends of the galaxy, rather.
Right.
Okay. And he somehow escapes into Mirror Universe, assumes Starfleet command, and wants to go back for his own nefarious purposes.
Yes. And so his desire and his messing with the system is because he wanted to get back there. Because that's where he's from. And so his long game in this is to, who knows what his long game is, but especially since he ended up putting himself up for torture. But yeah, Lorca's a bad man.
The Lorca is a bad man.
I guess that don't explain the one thing I had with that theory is why would he be doing all this? But if he really is, and that would explain why he's so screwed up.
Weird. Yeah. I mean, it might even explain some of that. I mean, the eye situation and some of his stuff that he's done and
maybe
weird things that he's done. I don't know.
I mean, he has a lot of eccentric behavior, and I think that we're all clearly expecting something to go wrong with him, just like we were all expecting something to go wrong with
Ash.
to go wrong with Ash. And I mean, what the hell? The internet was correct. So.
Well, and it was funny because I rewatched episode 11, which we haven't gotten into the plot for yet, but the Torchbearer makes an appearance in the same scene with Ash because the internet theory. Yeah, the internet theory went so far as to look up part of the evidence for the internet theory that, okay, so it's not really revealed until episode 11. But let's just jump into it. So in episode 11, they get orders to destroy the rebellion, and Michael has
straight from the Emperor themselves.
Straight from the Emperor. They get orders to destroy the rebellion. And Michael hesitates because she thinks it's just such an amazing thing that all of these people, all of these races that couldn't come together in their universe had come together here. And she wants to learn from them. So she instead goes down with Ash to meet the leader, who's called the Fire Wolf. The episode's called The Wolf Inside.
Okay.
Right.
The Fire Wolf. I'm sitting there like, okay, cool. Like, did they go ahead and
Watching.
borrow that from Dungeons and Dragons too?
I was at my immediately, and Regina's not going to get this, but I was like, Fire Lord.
Fire Lord was
The Fire
I.
Wolf.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'd be down with a fire wolf Ozai. That'd be pretty great. Anyway, this is also not the Avatar: The Last Airbender podcast.
Right.
It's all right.
It's just a really ridiculous name. I was like,
It is. Yeah, it was kind of ridiculous. Yeah. Anyway, so he turns out to be Tolk, the torchbearer Klingon, who has united everybody, which was his, like, you know, prophecy was that that's who he was going to be.
That's who he was going to be. And it was interesting that that in this universe, he is also Volk without the one without a house.
Right.
Like just like he was in the the regular universe Prime, whatever we're calling it.
Right.
And yeah, it's very interesting to me that that he goes from, you know, both universes, person without a house, and then he ends up becoming for what we saw, a great leader of people.
Right.
Managed to go ahead and unite traditionally warring factions against the common enemy, which is ultimately what Burnham figures out is the secret for them uniting. It's the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
and yeah,
it wasn't through. I feel like that kind of broke her at least a little bit. That like it wasn't great diplomacy. It wasn't like offering up of Weregild or anything like that. It was just the Terrans are that bad,
right?
And they're that nasty and that evil that what other choice did they have but band together for survival?
Yep.
Like, war makes strange bedfellows, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it was interesting to think that she had such high ideals and she came into that situation thinking she was going to learn so much about it. And then just to find out, he's like, none of us have a place to go. Like, we're hunted everywhere we go. So of course we're going to band together.
Yeah.
So in that scene when she's confronting him and she's trying to talk to him, the triggering of Ash's memories actually happens, and he figures out what's up, and so do we.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're like, it's still not outwardly confirmed at that point, because just like in the camp he starts speaking Klingon and we're just like, oh well, that is most certainly interesting, because it's still plausible at that point that he could that he could have just been programmed or like picked up Klingon when he was 9 months inside of a Klingon vessel.
Yeah.
And he turns on him, he tries to execute him, and they're about to go ahead and execute Ash and Michael. And meanwhile, Sarek, doing his best impression
who
of
has the
Leonard
evil
Nimoy.
goatee.
Yep.
Who has the same. I almost sent you guys a picture of Spock with the evil goatee from Mirror Mirror, the original series episode, just so you could know exactly how
I've seen that episode. Like, I haven't seen very much, but I've seen that episode.
Yeah, Mirror Mirror is
it's a classic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. He managed to go ahead and do a mind meld and saw all of Burnham's old memories, and he's holding back a couple of cards from the rest of the Resistance at this point, because he is, we assume, seen very clear pictures of the fact that he has raised this woman as a daughter,
right?
And and is able to say with absolute certainty that she comes with no harm, whether or not Ash's intentions are pure, he has no idea.
Right, because he didn't do a mind meld with him. Yeah. So they get what they need. The rebels agree to evacuate. They agree to bomb the base after they have evacuated. They give them the information that they need to show that they've actually infiltrated the base. And then they take off back to the ship.
Yeah, they take off back to the ship where Burnham puts just basically puts Ash in the brig, and it's just what what is going on?
First.
No, yeah, right, yeah.
She takes him back to her room,
to her quarters, yeah,
alone.
Yep, because she figures it's just Ash. He's my dude. We're homies. We all good. And then he decides to to get all medieval up on her ass, and it basically goes to town. He realizes clearly at that point, and if you haven't guessed at this point who he is, Ash is Volk. He is the torchbearer who has basically been horrifically altered to look like a human, like out of a lobster, right? like it's the Klingons here are lobsters, and they get to chip off all that exoskeleton and graft skin, and like
Well, I don't think that's
that's
what
an
they
amazing
did.
job.
I don't think that's what they did.
What do you think? What do you mean that that's not what they did?
What?
No, because what the doctor was saying was that he had all the scar tissue inside his body. So I think, and then you saw in, well, okay, so I rewatched episode 11 today, so I've seen it twice. And that was the second time I was looking for indicators, which I wasn't the first time. So the second time in the torture scenes, when it's showing the flashbacks for him, when he's starting to come to the actual realization, it shows Ash's body with this big red circle and all the internal organs highlighted. And then it shows them pulling the heart out of Tolk.
Really?
They didn't take the Klingon and make him look like a human. They put the Klingon innards inside Ash.
Oh,
okay, but
God.
That's just why he was talking about, the doctor was saying you have all this scar tissue and all this weird bone breakage and all this weird healing, and it doesn't look right. It doesn't look like, you know, a human's supposed to look on the inside, which is because it's the wolf inside.
But didn't
Internet,
Culver
you can't
say
see my face
something
right
about
now.
like shortening, shortening his skeleton and like shortening his spine and all the bone breakage and stuff?
I thought the bone breakage was all on the internal stuff.
That your theory, Regina, like makes it worse.
I know.
Makes it so much worse.
But when I saw this, because the torture scenes are horrible, you know, and I like have to like, but I was like actually like very closely paying attention today, and I'm like, no, they're literally like scooping like innards out and like putting them in Ash. Like, this is not, they scaled him down and made him look like Ash. They took Ash's body and put
folks' brain and heart in there.
Well, and I don't even think that they messed up his head. Like, because if you look at the torture scenes, there's no indication that they've
busted up
skull
his
off to put his brain in. And he says, I feel him inside me. I feel him inside me. And
literally and figuratively now.
And the doctor was saying it's as if your consciousness is over someone else's.
Jesus.
So somehow they figured out how to put both consciousnesses in one brain, and the innards of the torchbearer into Ash. And that's why he still reads human. That's why he could get by the scans, because it's not that they turned him into it. It's that they like literally shoved his body parts in him.
I mean,
cheers.
That Internet, you can't see my face right now unless you're watching the video, but like I am utterly disgusted.
But it's,
this is
you know,
really
go back and watch it.
I thought it was.
Yeah, go back and watch it.
It's like I thought that they had I thought that they had basically just like cracked him down like a lobster, like crushed his skull and, you know, like did all the stuff and grafted skin over him and like. And I was saying to myself, like, that's a pretty darn good job of making a Klingon look like a human, but like this is very much worse. And I don't like it. I'm quitting this show.
Yeah.
That's a lie. I'm not quitting this show.
No, I mean, who could quit the show at this point? Like, I have to see where this goes.
I absolutely have to see where this goes.
Like, I could understand quitting in the first like 3 or 4 episodes. I get it.
Yeah.
But you get to this point, it's like, no, this story is so off the rails. I have to see what happens with this.
Yeah. Yeah. So Regina, you remember when I was like back at episode like 1 when like Michelle Yeoh was on there, and I was just like, oh, look at that, like Michelle Yeoh, like it's gonna be Crouching Tiger, Hidden Klingon, and there was a joke because Michelle Yeoh did Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Like, there's actually a Hidden Klingon in here.
Yes.
I did not mean for that to actually be
you had an actual prediction that you didn't know was an actual prediction.
So I want to go ahead and mark that down on the scorecard as Dante got one thing right.
Yes.
Even though I didn't mean for that thing to be right.
Yes.
However, speaking of Michelle Yeoh. You remember back in episode 2 when I said that I was very disappointed that the show was going to be about Michael Burnham, and I wanted it to be her and Michelle Yeoh or Philippa Georgiou, buddy cops.
Right.
We are not going to get Michelle Yeoh and Michael Burnham buddy cops. We are going to get Emperor Philippa Georgiou.
I know.
And
As soon as she came on the screen, I was like, "What?"
I literally rewound that scene like 3 times. Like same as when the doctor was killed by Ash. Like I was like, did I just see that? And then this one, like I was
couldn't.
typing stuff. Like I was going ahead and just and typing and
Yeah, because
doing
that
stuff
episode
while I
was
was
kind of like plodding along and it's
I was watching
moving,
it.
and you're like, okay, cool
Yeah.
stuff is happening, and this is good.
Yeah.
And I'm
And they were
into
just like, oh, look at that, the Emperor. Like I look up, like, ah! Like I literally like threw my laptop to the side. What is happening here? And then I was like, that is not her. It's not. Oh my God, it's her.
Yeah.
In case it's not very evident, I have a gargantuan.
Gargantuan?
Yeah, gargantuan. I pronounce it GIF too, apparently. So, so I have a gargantuan crush on Philippa Georgiou. So like I will follow her to the gates of hell. I will march right inside. Like I am prepared to go ahead and let the bad guys win this one, as long as I get to see more of her.
Right.
I'm absolutely prepared to go ahead and let the Terrans eradicate every single Vulcan if that means that I get to see Michelle Yeoh in more episodes.
I just have to say that like I thought that the costumes and the uniforms and everything in our disco universe were pretty on fleek, right?
Stop trying to make that a thing. It's
sure. They were pretty fetch.
Okay, I'll accept that.
But they looked smart, they looked, appropriate, they didn't have anything too crazy or too much of anything. But the uniforms and the design in the Mirror universe, I drool over some of them. Like they look so good.
Absolutely on points.
They are. They're just fantastic. And it's enough, because our joke is always, from Mirror Mirror, you've got an evil version of somebody, throw a goatee on him, like it's the thing. But they've done so well. Like I said, I love Captain Killy.
Oh my God, Captain Killy.
God.
Oh my God. Like I didn't think that it was going to get better than Captain Tilly.
Right.
Like if for nothing else than the look on Lorca's face when he found out that she was the captain of the Discovery in this universe.
Yeah, but her hair and her appointments and just everything was great.
Oh my God.
And then once Georgiou comes back as the Emperor.
Oh my God.
Her outfit. I was
Be still my heart.
Where are the cosplayers? Because this Mirror universe needs to have every cosplayer out there working on it right now. Right now.
God. Like literally everyone. Like if the cosplay scene at San Diego Comic-Con this year is not at least 30% Mirror Universe Philippa Georgiou, I am going to demand a recount.
It's just so good. It's so good. The look is amazing. And
oh my God. And she's she is just fantastic. Absolutely wonderful.
And you have this down as a question here, as a note here, but part of that scene and that reveal, part of what was fascinating to watch it again today, and so you mentioned this in the notes, is how, or you mentioned it in the first episode notes, is how well acted this series is. Yeah. And I know we had our doubts about the actress playing Michael.
Michael Burnham, yeah.
I want to call her Sasha because she was Sasha on The Walking Dead.
Sinequa Martin Green.
Yeah, and her face, and she doesn't have a line to speak. It all has to come from her face. And she just did such an incredible job with the subtlety of it. The fight of her real reaction to having to pull it together to have the mirror reaction. It's just so good.
Oh my God. It's absolutely incredible. And I wrote that down initially in episode 10 because I wanted to really highlight how Tilly has come kind of full circle. Like
Yeah.
she was like the neurotic crew member who talks too much and doesn't understand social cues, and how she has had to abandon all of that and become the confident, ruthless captain that's her mirror universe self is. And like, and I thought that the actress, I don't know what the actress's name is, um but yeah, the actress who did that managed to pull it off with such aplomb. And like, and not to mention, she managed to capture this essence of how much Tilly is struggling with being someone that she's not.
Right.
And how she needs to be debriefed and how she needs to be encouraged by Lorca. And just all of these tiny things that add up to make her such a well-rounded character. And I was going to applaud her as like the absolute star of these last two episodes, and she was until the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, it was exactly what you just said. Like when Michelle Yeoh and Sonequa Marguerite are just selling this whole big reveal, because like, I don't know. I don't go on Reddit for spoilers. I don't look for fan theories on Twitter or anything like that. So I don't know if this was predicted. Like, I know that the fan theory with Volk being Ash was a thing, but like, I don't know if anybody predicted that Philippa Giorgio was going to be the Emperor in this universe.
I was wondering where she was
in the alternate
universe. I was wondering if she had died or.
I mean, like,
but I was.
Well, there had been no mention of it, and nobody had looked her up, which I thought was interesting. Like, nobody had looked up what she was doing. I would imagine.
Well, that's the thing. It's like she's been gone for what, 6-9 months at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, at this point, like, they've all been super stressed out with, like, two encounters with Harcourt Fenton Mudd and all of and this brewing war with the Klingons. They haven't had a lot of time as a crew to really get together and grieve and mourn and all of the fun stuff. And and let's be real here, like, there's only 3 people really on this ship who really knew Philippa Giorgio in any real capacity, and that's Lorca, Burnham, and Saru. Like, everybody else, nobody else was on that ship.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. That's true.
No, so why would anybody but those 3 people think to look for her?
Right.
Like,
but at the same time, they had Saru ask about himself.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I just can't imagine. I don't know. It just seems awfully convenient that they hadn't looked her up at some point to see what had happened to her. But I also didn't think about it in the moment. Like, I think, originally, and I said these in the first episodes that we recorded talking about the show, how disappointing it was that they had such a big name and how she had been refrigerated so early on.
I mean,
and I couldn't imagine why an actress of her caliber would agree to do a TV show. To only be, I mean, maybe, just to be in a couple of episodes. I was like, well, maybe the money was good and she was just there for a couple of episodes and that was cool. But it just seems like there was so much more that could have been done. And then we have it. But I think the reason why I had she kind of fallen out of my brain and fallen out of my consideration of the story was because she did die so early.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't like keeping her in mind in all of this. So that's, I don't know if it was planned that way, but.
Yeah, I mean, that's a thing that I didn't even think of until literally just now when you brought it up with regards to her dying. Like, so I made a point in the notes as well that they have killed off 3 people of color at this point. They've killed off the doctor. They killed off the rando security guard red shirt with tardigrade, and most prominently, they killed off Philippa Giorgio in episode number 2. At this point, like, do we take a death back because she's on the show again?
And was it intentional? Like, was having her die so early intentional so that we could have so much build up to this reveal?
I mean, I cannot imagine that I cannot imagine that this is anything but deliberate because
Yeah.
she's, of course, featured prominently in 2
Mhm.
episodes, and then she was featured in flashback in
Right.
a couple of episodes, or not a couple, like just like one episode, the episode where she ends up getting the telescope,
Right.
where Burnham ends up getting the telescope, and yeah, and like and that's it. And I thought, I was like, okay, cool. Like, Michelle, yeah, you signed up for, 2.5 episodes of
You've been
of
a
a
Star
few,
Trek captain. You
of a
did a movie's worth of Star Trek
exactly, yeah.
time.
Like, I figured that she's just like, all right, cool. Like, I'll go ahead.
Yeah,
I'll take the easy paycheck. I'll go and chill in Malibu now because, like, that's
because
awesome.
I can.
Because
Right.
that's what big name actresses do, right?
Right. Yep.
And yeah, like, I cannot imagine that this is anything but deliberate. Like, I am like, you've of course you've all watched Buffy. I am being brought back to season 6 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where they got rid of Giles that early in season 6, where he just like went back to England,
Right.
and then you didn't even know that he was there until the second to last episode of season 6, where Willow's gone full on dark magic, and she's like, no power in the verse can stop me now, and then he hits her with a magic blast from behind, and she gets up, and the camera just pans to him. He's like, I'd like to test that theory. And every Buffy fan in the world was like, what's going on? And then and you remember, like, at that point, like he wasn't in the special guest credits at the beginning. Like,
Right.
after he says, I'd like to test that theory, screen goes to black, and then it says special guest star Anthony Stewart Head.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
it immediately got brought back to those feelings when I saw that.
Yeah. So I
Like,
wonder
in
too.
this episode.
Yeah, I wonder if she's going to be listed in the credits at the beginning of the episode now, because she is sort of an official
Or,
person.
I mean, like, I kind of feel like maybe she's not going to be in the title credits, but she's going to be prominently featured as, like, like special guest star Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, which is perfectly fine by me.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. I don't know. It was, yeah. I know I was lukewarm, and I had a friend of mine who listens to the show message me on Twitter, and he's like, wow, you really didn't like Discovery when it first came out. And I was like, I didn't feel like I didn't like it, but I was certainly on the fence about it. But whoa, baby.
I mean, it took a while.
It did. I mean, it was a slow burn.
You know, and I think, like, listening back to our episodes, like, we were kind of like up and down. Like, like, I think I even invoked the Star Trek even numbered rule.
Right. The episodes.
You know, just like every other episode was great.
Right.
And every other episode was just like terrible.
Now it's like every episode is just knocking your head off with a baseball bat, because
I know, it's like, and at this point, like, the hype is so built up, I'm not sure where they can go from here.
Right. Like, what's the payoff going to be in this? Like where's the payoff going to come? But
yeah, I mean, but still, like, I'm glad that they didn't build up to revealing the Emperor's identity for the entire second half of the season, because I feel like at that point everyone would just be waiting, like, it's got to be Georgiou, it's got to be her, and then it comes, and, like, great, great, and we're all happy. But, like, this just, like, slapped you in the face with absolutely no warning, no indication that it was happening, and I'm like, that is some damn good writing, like, extraordinarily deceptive. They played a very intricate shell game, with making you guess what's happening and keeping you off balance, and when it hits us, all of us just like, oh god, what did I just watch?
Yep.
Oh god, like, my heart is still fluttering. because because everything about this just, like, I can't believe I'm actually about to say this, but, like, good on you, CBS. I have gotten my money's worth.
Yeah, like, no kidding. I said that too. Like, I've been kind of annoyed the whole time that I felt they were limiting the audience and limiting, who was going to access it, because who was going to pay for it. But
like, yeah,
they wanted to drive people to their service.
This was
for you
this
guys.
was worth paying for. There's, like, these 10 episodes. Like, if you had just told me, like, these 10 episodes were it, I'd be like, okay, like, got it.
Yeah.
Like,
and we have, I think
good.
we have 4 more after this.
Yeah, 4 more after
Yeah, that's
this.
what I was just looking at.
Yeah, it
Oh my
ends
God.
February 11th is the last episode.
Oh.
They have all the titles up of the next ones.
If I have to see Michael Burnham kill Philippa Giorgio again, I'm going to scream.
Well, she didn't kill her last time. She just didn't
I mean,
manage to protect her in a bad situation.
she
But
didn't. Yeah, she didn't manage to protect her, but like she kind of pulled the trigger on that one. Like
yeah,
if she had just done her roundabout, her flyabout, or whatever she was supposed to do,
no,
Giorgio
yeah,
would not be dead.
yeah, yeah. She
So like,
definitely messed
if
up.
I have to if I have to see Philippa Giorgio die one more time, I'm going to lose myself.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyways,
I don't know. We'll see. We can put that on the list of predictions. But what was
mhm.
there was some note I had in here that I wanted to make sure I talked about, but I can't remember what it was now. Oh, I know what it was. It was on the one of the pieces of the fan theory that Ash was
Mhm.
Tolk, the torchbearer, was that they had looked up, at least the evidence that I had seen for it was they had looked up the IMDb
Mhm.
profile
Yep.
for the actor who played the torchbearer, and it was
Mhm.
very thin, and it didn't have any pictures of any like actual face associated with it or anything.
Mhm.
And I realized today, watching episode 11 over again, you
Mhm.
can actually pick up on the vocal cadence and mannerisms being the same between the torchbearer and Ash in that scene
Mhm.
where they're on the planet together. You can actually like hear it, and I was like, oh man.
Yeah. So, so you actually did not say what I thought you were going to say with regards to part of the fan theory. Was well with regards to the IMDb page that this actor who played Voke, the torchbearer, uh, kind of came out of nowhere. He didn't really
Right.
have any acting credits
Yep.
before this.
Yep.
Like, and that seems really strange. That that no one's heard of this person. Who that person is? That is the name of Shazad Latif's father.
Really?
They use the name of his father in the IMDb profile to deliberately throw off people.
Oh,
So that is why nobody knew who he was
nobody knew who he was.
because they used the name of his father, and I think he said he was passed away. His father had passed away a couple of years ago. So
So it's like an
no,
homage to him.
yeah, so no
Yeah.
one's gonna have any pictures.
Right.
No one's gonna be able to track down an actual
Nobody.
person.
Yeah. If anybody goes searching, they'll find people with that name, but it obviously couldn't be the person.
Yeah,
Mm.
like that is absolutely crazy. I'm sorry. like I mean, but you know what? Like, good on CBS. Good on CBS and the showrunners and or whoever's basically in production or in charge of producing this thing, because like they are very aware that internet spoilers are a thing and that you need to use a whole ton of deception in order to make sure that
Yeah.
something stupid like IMDb doesn't ruin your show.
Right. Well, and
Um,
that's what's so funny is I had IMDb up to keep track of the episode titles, which I usually do as we record. So I just clicked on the cast just to look to see if they still had that fake profile up, and they don't. They've changed it, so it's Volk for
yeah.
the actor who plays Ash. They've like updated that enough. So
No, yeah.
they even went back to make sure that IMDb updated it.
I cannot even imagine how much they had to pay off someone at IMDb and just be like, listen, this is a fake person. You shut your mouth and we will make you a very happy person.
Make a profile.
like here is a Tesla Model S. Would you like it? Like I would shut up for a Tesla Model S, but that's just me.
Yeah. All right, Isabella, you've been awfully quiet.
You two talk a lot. Did you know that?
I mean, I'm an extrovert who basically likes hearing the sound of his own voice. So yeah, I get that.
I can't help it. I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely think that you two liked it more than I did.
Oh,
but I am excited to see where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm not sure what else to say.
You can say that that you also accept Philippa Giorgio as your supreme overlord.
This is true. This is true. I'm happy she's back.
Oh my God.
I want her to just kick them all and just yes.
It's gonna be incredible. But yeah. Oh God. Yeah,
I do love her line where she's like, "You made me walk from the other side of the quadrant to do your job. How dare you?"
To do your job. Oh yeah, that's a big plot point. That's that before the rebel facilities are evacuated, like they get blown up anyway by other starships because this is a thing. Because and just like oh God, yeah, like and just that last line is just like, "Don't you bow before your emperor?" I'm like, oh, yes, I will absolutely bow before you.
Yes, I do.
Yep.
Yes, I do.
Oh man, you can stop me when this starts sounding creepy. I feel like I've already crossed that threshold. So
you're allowed to have a crush on the emperor. I mean, I'm sure she's got a little cult following of fanboys.
I mean, that's like it's
rubber feet for her, or give her a bath like Saru does for Michael. I did want to make a comment about how I thought it was quite refreshing that it took them to get to 11 episodes before they put Michael in her underwear.
Oh yeah, that was interesting. Like it now that you mention that, yeah, that it felt really out of place for me.
Yes.
But
it's supposed to be the mirror universe, so it kind of like maybe we're supposed to like, a little bit more.
As far as underwear goes, it was.
Oh, it was. I'm not complaining. Like,
yeah,
they did a good representation.
It wasn't a Star Trek movie level of underwear.
No, or even like there's a long tradition. There's a long sad tradition of women in science fiction movies ending up in their underwear. AKA Ripley and Alien. Where
the Green Lady with Shatner.
Yes, right. there's always sort of some scantily cladness that has to that doesn't have to happen. Excuse me, I don't mean to say that, but that ends up being part of the plot. It's in some place, and so I really am. I'm serious when I say that. I'm glad that it didn't happen in episode 2 because gratuitous, scantily clad women could definitely be a thing. That it was a very tasteful like outfit for her, which was great. It wasn't a crop top with side boob or whatever.
I mean, and I also appreciate that they spent like a decent amount of time with Shazad Latif shirtless. So I was like, okay, like at least they are going ahead and trying to be equitable about this.
Even the playing field a little bit, like making it so it's a little bit more even, numbered or whatnot. But evenly.
Yeah, evenly distributed.
Yes, and so I was, but I do think that the reason why, I mean, story wise, I think we needed to see her being a little bit more vulnerable because that whole voiceover in that entire scene is about how she's afraid that she's going to have been there for too long, and having been there for too long, she's going to lose herself and blah, 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 blah. So it made sense that it was kind of coming out at that point.
Yeah. I mean, and now she doesn't have that tether. Like she was relying solely on Ash Tyler, and he's not there for her anymore.
Right. And Lorca, she has a scene with Lorca where she says after she boots him out, and she's like, bring him to my ready room or my chambers or whatever, because I want to have some time interrogating him. And he comes in, he's like, oh, I'll be your tether. And I'm like, you're going to push her over the friggin' edge.
I mean, and that's
purpose.
I mean, here's the thing. It's just like, how much can he possibly be a tether when he is apparently enduring like 23 hours a day of torture versus like 1 hour of private one-on-one time with the captain?
Right.
It's just like,
I don't know. I keep thinking too, like, I feel like one of the senses I always had about the Mirror Mirror episode in the original series. One of the things that's so amazing about it is you feel the tension of them feeling like any one flub is going to get them exposed.
Yeah.
And I feel like she's to the point now where I'm like, they've got to freaking know something's going on. There's just too much that she's done that's out of character, and too many things that she's kind of manipulated, you know, especially when she beamed him out into space and I'm assuming she changed the coordinates of where she beamed him to.
Yeah, I think she managed to go ahead and like send I think she managed to send like a message to the Discovery.
She had to have at some point, because they knew to pick him up, and they knew that he was a traitor.
Yeah.
When they picked him up, and that he was going to have the material. So how did all of that happen in the span of time between?
Yeah, like she has to have like a secret communicator or something like that to send messages to Saru or something like that.
Something.
Well,
like,
she does. Well, that's how she talked to
channel
before, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but it's not like you can go, and get a straight talk burner cell in space or something like that.
But she did like have to get dressed and everything before.
She had to go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, because she was basically undressed while Vok was trying to kill her.
Right. Well, no, she was still in her. They had just come back from the mission.
Oh.
But she did change, right?
She changed, though. She changed into her regular uniform from her.
Oh yeah, from her Kevlar vest or whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Wait. She's wearing the Kevlar vest at the end.
You're right, she is, because it's got these weird things on the shoulders.
Bumps, like the bumps that I kept noticed when she was bowing.
And then she goes to put her head over, and she's got like, it's like
doing that thing. Yeah,
it's like a.
So I don't know. Maybe she got like a moment to compose herself, and
something.
She managed to sneak off a message somehow.
Yeah, I guess that was the assumption we're supposed to make, is that she was able to communicate with all of it too.
Because the second he shows up in space, I was like, oh, she really did kill him.
I know. I said the same thing. I was like, I didn't expect that was really going to be what happened. And then he starts freezing, and I'm like, yeah, because he's awful. And then he gets beamed out of space, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
He's only going to mess things up more. And then Sarah was like, oh, we're still from our universe, and we don't do things that way. And I was like, yeah, you're going to regret that on this one, I'm afraid.
You're absolutely going to regret that one. I was like, Saru, like, you done messed up.
That, and I was like, well, he could have killed himself. Like,
yeah.
The mirror universe, him could have killed Ash when they were down on the planet. And I'm like, oh, that would have been interesting. That
would have been very interesting.
Nobody would have known, and he wouldn't have even really known, because he was stuck into it at that point. But
yeah, so that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
So you're all in.
I'm beyond all in. I'm not really sure even how to find myself at this point. Like, I have to know what happens. Like, I have this addiction to the story anyway, where I have to know what happens. And when the story is good and the acting is good, and I'm like, let's go. All right. So what predictions do we have? Let's end to this episode with one prediction from each of us, what we think was going to come up in the rest of the season.
Oh man,
Dante, let's start with you.
Oh man. Why'd you have to start with me?
Mind you, people listening and watching, I did not warn them that I was doing this. I literally just dropped it on both of them. So
that's okay. All right. So are we making predictions for the next 2 episodes or for the season overall?
Well, we only have 4 episodes left.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be comfortable if we would just want to do the season overall.
Okay.
Like,
I think
the rest of the season.
Okay. I think that the real Ash Tyler will please stand up. He is going to go through a fight of consciousness, because they've already established that they have overlaid someone else's consciousness with Vokes, right?
Right.
I think that there is going to be that sort of mental psychic struggle, and eventually Ash Tyler is Ash Tyler's consciousness is going to either A, win out and take control back of his body, or B, he's going to help the crew in some way by offing himself and ensuring that
some sort of self-sacrifice,
that the traitor inside of him never hurts anyone again.
Yeah. Okay. Is he?
I'm gonna say that Saru finds out that something horrible has happened to his people,
Mm.
and that's why they've been like enslaved.
Okay.
I'm grasping at straws. I have no idea.
I know. Well,
the show has gone completely off the deep end.
It has. Like, it's just I really just don't know where to kind of predict with what's going because of
Maybe Culver. Maybe Dante's. Wait, what was it Dante that said that maybe Culver's not dead? Or was that
Rashida
I said
that Culber's not dead.
I said Colbert's not dead. The doctor.
Maybe that will actually happen because who knows?
Hey, you know what? Like fan theories, fan theories are 1 for 1 at this point. So
I still can't believe it.
Well, it was what I had seen was something that the actor who plays the doctor had said. Don't worry, it's not a story of another gay getting refrigerated.
Mm-hmm.
So he said that, like it was a quote from him.
Interesting.
I mean,
I guess I'm gonna let it play out.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna. I'm not sure I want to look into it further.
Mm-hmm. I don't either. I'm trying to stay. I mean, I only like see, I don't go seeking things out. I just kind of see what pops up and like, the bigger like, whoever I follow on Facebook, IO9 or the different pop culture sites that I follow, even the Mary Sue, who had a really interesting article about Runaways, by the way.
Really?
Yes. You should check it out.
I might check it out.
Mostly a lot of praise, a lot of praise, a lot of what we said actually.
Well, I hope that we're suing them for bogarting our ideas.
No, but yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen. I think the theory of that my friend Liam shared with me about Lorca being the mirror Lorca. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of on board with that. I'm thinking that might be the case. I think Lorca has some agenda that is unclear at this point in time. I think he wanted to be in this universe, and I think he did orchestrate this.
Maybe he did it just to get the spore drive.
I don't know.
Spore drive?
To the other universe.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know how this works. Huh. I'm grasping at straws. Well,
I don't know.
Why would he need to go back there?
Well, that's what I don't know. Like, I don't know. But I'm putting the spore drive down on your predictions, okay. Isabella. Because I don't think we haven't. There was another ship that had a spore drive. But
no,
have we heard anything about that?
No, this is the only ship that has a spore drive.
No, in our universe.
Oh.
They like
that's
exploded.
Where they found the tardigrade. Remember, they originally found the tardigrade.
Got destroyed.
Yeah, in our universe. But did it get destroyed in the mirror universe?
I don't think it exists in the mirror universe.
And is there any evidence of the spore drive at all? Like, I hadn't even thought about that. Like, they haven't jumped since
they said that didn't they say that their counterpart has like a quantum engine or something about it was different?
I don't remember.
But yeah, okay, all right. So I'll go ahead and throw out another prediction. Is that I think that Lorca being a traitor is a red herring.
Okay.
Like they have made it way too obvious that he's obvious. Yeah, I think they've made it way too obvious at this point that they want you to look at Lorca being a bad guy, and I don't think that he is.
You think he's gonna turn around and be good at the end? I
think that he ultimately is just like I think he's ultimately going to end up being that like that hotshot guy who is like he's a soldier at heart. All he's wanted to do is go to war, but he's ultimately had the best interests of the Federation at mind. And despite the fact that he has tactics that Starfleet doesn't agree with, he's ultimately acted in the best interests of Starfleet. I think that him being evil is a red herring.
Yeah, could be. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there is an awful lot pointing that way. Like, too much smoke, not enough fire.
Yeah, and if this show has proven to us anything, it is that they are fantastic at misdirection.
They really are.
Yeah.
That I will definitely be on board with. Yeah.
Mhm.
They're really good at throwing you off the track. So, yeah, so we'll see. All right. To our faithful listeners, I hope some of you guys are watching Disco.
No.
Yep.
No disco.
No Disco.
Always Disco forever.
Disco forever.
Mhm.
Yeah, let us know at thegeekembassy.com or at the Geek Embassy on Twitter. Your thoughts and predictions. Do you think the show is as crazy as we think it is? I really do. Well, it was funny because I looked back on the post for episode 9, the mid-season finale, and I had in all caps, "What is happening on this show?"
I mean,
I'm still
I had it
wondering.
then, and it's more true now.
yeah, I mean that's not an untrue statement.
No, not at all. So we want to know what you guys think is going to happen, or what fan theories. How do you feel about a fan theory coming true? Like, how do you feel about this?
When was the last time that happened?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's such a crazy one.
Like, yeah, totally. Like a lobster can be a human too, right?
Yeah, right. Why not?
You know?
Yeah, like just fascinating.
I don't know.
Gosh.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. Until next time, get your disco on.
Hi.
I have to do that one. It works.
Of course you have to do that one. Why wouldn't you? I am perfectly okay with it. It's the other member of this podcast who is just giving you the stink eye.
Well, she shakes her head every time I
No
do it.
disco.
Disco.
No
No disco.